Thank you everyone for the short intro. So, without wasting time, I'm going to the agenda for today. And like I said earlier, we'll be discussing profit maximization and how you can improve your productivity this season. What are some of the commodities you can actually like focus on to help you grow your business this season? The test you need to say, the things you need to know, and everything you need to know anyway. So this are things we're going to be discussing um, this afternoon. So I'd like to come on and this to start. So after a question, you can just take this question before we go to the next question. Thank you. I'll do this.
Additional, we can't get you clearly. I don't know whether it's network from your end, but I didn't get you clearly. I only had the point Abdul. Um, Good afternoon once more to all those present for this webinar today. It's going to be a very insightful session where we'll discuss profit maximization, uh, how we can improve productivity and also make profit at the end of the day. I believe this is the key topic that everyone is eager to be part of and to know actually how can that person make profits and how can he or she as well increase productivity. Now, just to make it very much brief and short is, I will look at the strategies we as Zoacell, what we provide to increase productivity and what we do for the smallholder farmers to maximize profit. Now, this one is divided into two folds. One, what is our strategy in Zoacell to increase productivity? And two, we in Zoacell, how can we make it possible for the smallholder farmer to maximize profits? Now, let me go with the strategy. Now, one of the key strategies we have in Zoacell is provide training, free agronomic training for farmers. Now, in this our agronomy training we are providing for farmers, it is free. We are ensuring that the farmer are being taught, being led through demonstrations on how to cultivate their farmland, on how they will be able to apply chemicals, the appropriate time, fertilizer application. Now, this is one of the strategy we use in farmers to farmers on how they will increase their productivity. The second strategy we have in Zoacell as a system we've adopted is provide mechanization support. Now, we provide mechanization support to smallholder farmers in communities where we have our CTC centers. Now, in these areas, practically, we have machines at a very subsidized rate. And even though we do not have those machines in some communities where we have our CTC centers, we always create a referral for the smallholder farmers and emerging farms so that those people will be able to use those machines. Because if the system, because now we are looking at agric for it to be a business, it's no longer a way of life. Agric is business. What it entails is for you to be able to generate profit at the end of the day. And how will you do that? Where you increase your productivity. Increasing your productivity is the channels, the method you are going to use to expand your farmland. How fast, how well can you do it? We have looked at it that farmers lack that particular channel in order for them to be able to increase their productivity. So with our mechanization services, we encourage them for them to use our machines. We encourage them to use machines to increase the land they are cultivating. So that is the second strategy we have. And the third strategy here is we provide input at a subsidized rate, because we have seen it that farmers do struggle for them to get quality farm input. When you look at seeds, most of the seeds these smallholder farmers are using, these seeds have segregated. They are using them year in, year out. So the genetic strength or the genetic productivity of these seeds has already reduced for over years or for over time. So what we do is we provide high quality seeds. Some of these seeds we are getting them from research institutions. Some of them we are getting it from renowned seed companies who we know cannot use certified seed to produce certified seed. We believe that they are using either foundation seed to produce certified seed or they are using breeder seed to produce certified seed, because farmers always have these challenges along the line. Now, when you look at inputs again in terms of agrochemicals, we are providing good quality agrochemical to the smallholder farmer at a subsidized rate. Because if you look at it, that in most places, some of these chemicals that they sell in the open market are adulterated chemicals. Some of the fertilizer they are selling in the open market do not have the necessary blend as it's supposed to be. So you can see that there are so many blends of fertilizers in the market. But we in ZOA say we look at it as a strategy that let's move that opportunity to the smallholder closer, so that some of these things will be traceable, they will be accessible for the smallholder farmer. Now that is the third strategy that we have in-house. Now, let's move up to profit making. How do we intensify that? At the end of the day, after you have given all this your strategy, all this your services, how will the smallholder farmer make profits? Now, one of the key things that Zoacell we are about is for the farmer to make profits. And what is the way Zoacell has make it for that person to make profits? Now, we created a better system for them. We have created a better system for them, that is connect the farmers with premium markets. Now, if you look at the Zoacell entire business plan, we have the marketplace. The marketplace is where you can trade your commodities with ease of stress. The marketplace is where you can trade your commodity, you make more profit. The marketplace is where you can trace where your commodity it is going. The marketplace is where you can move your commodity at a specified time and delivery to be made. It is the marketplace where we can guarantee you that you get paid at a particular point of delivery. So all these ones are strategies that we have in-house at Zoacell that the farmer can make more profits. Because we don't want to only look at productivity, but we also want the farmer to maximize profit. Because there are so many people in the open market who can determine prices of commodities. There are so many of them who can buy them at ridiculous prices from the smallholder farmers. So we Zoacell, we ensure that the marketplace is the most reliable place where the smallholder farmer will be connected directly to the market or to the buyer. Because as I said earlier, we have so many partners, we have so many buyers, where the farmer is free to sell his commodity to. If you know Mr. A price is not favorable for you, you jump to Mr. B. If Mr. B price is favorable for you, you sell to Mr. B. So that is why we created the marketplace where you can do that. And thirdly, the other strategy that we have in Zoacell that can increase productivity is timely delivery of your farm produce. Because post-harvest loss is an issue for farmers. And post-harvest loss is not only at the farm gates. Post-harvest loss is not only on the field. Post-harvest loss even happen in transit, moving your goods from farm gate or from the warehouse to the industry or to the company that you are taking it. So with our logistics services we have in Zoacell, we have been able to ensure that you make more profits by moving your commodity very fast. You make more profits when your commodities are already insured, because the logistics services we have in Zoacell, it is insured, thereby making it possible for you to get your pay as how it is being due. So with all this one, we look at it that is the strategy we already have in Zoacell on how the farmer can increase productivity and how the farmer or the individual can maximize profits. I believe with this short assessments I have already given, I believe we'll be able to understand from my own area here that increase productivity, this is what we do. Maximization of profit, this is what we do. We'll be able to share more as the discussion continues. So back to you, Shola.
Well, thank you very much for this. Um, so I don't know if you have questions on that, what you just said there. If you have questions, please just signify by raising your hand or take the question accordingly. All right, say okay.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone here. I'm actually new to the platform and I got to know about Zowasel not quite long, but I'm very happy to be here and I was actually happy with the strategies Mr. Abdul listed out. But from what I've actually experienced, my little experience gained in agriculture for some time now, I feel getting access to those farmers is where um, the issue lies, like getting access to farmers in the far north, far south, far west is actually an issue. At the end of the day, we see that food insecurity in Nigeria is at a very high rate. So we now in a more civilized area now, it's very, very difficult for us to have access to those farmers. Number one, due to insecurity, how many people here can actually say they are going to places like Northeast, Borno, and these communities are where large scale farmers are, such that they produce grains like sorghum in large quantities, and at the end of the day, when they don't have buyers, you see that those crops actually is either they go to waste or they are being bought by the terrorists and all of that. So I think the companies still need to do more on how to get access to those small farmers in remote areas. For example, in Benue State also, Benue State has a lot of farming activities, soya beans, maize, in local governments like Konshisha, so many of them, which have been ravaged by so-called insecurity too. So I think the companies still need to do more. And I feel the best way to have access to these farmers is, I think, number one, using warehousing method. If you can get warehouse close to those farmers, such that small farmers can bring little as one bag to your warehouse, you store them, and the management can also get buyers from maybe food processors, companies, agricultural companies, and all of that. So if you can actually get warehouses close to these small farmers, where you get, they bring their agricultural products to you, you pay them at a very cheaper price, and you get food processors to buy those grains. You at the end of the day, you're actually making profits for the company, not just for the company. You're making profit for the small farmers too. So I think that is my own opinion on how to maximize profits, not just for the company, but also for the small farmers. Because the moment they harvest, they come and sell to you, and there is nothing as um, like joyous for them to get immediate cash for their profit, for their sorry, for their farm produce. So I think that's where my own opinion lies. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Favor, for that contribution. Um, we have our warehousing system, and although it's not nationwide, um, where we can establish all these facilities. As I'm speaking to you now, we are commissioning our CTC. Our CTC basically is an abbreviation of Crop Test Center. That is where farmers take their commodities to sell. That is where farmers go and buy their farm input. That is where farmers get access to financial inclusion, like POS services. So all these ones are strategies that we have put in place for us to get closer to the smallholder farmers. It's rather unfortunate that when you speak about insecurity, Zoa said we don't have the strength for us to go into issues like insecurity. But what I believe we can do as a business entity is how we can ensure that these farmers are able to trade their commodities fast and safe to us. Because if we do not make it for them to have access to the warehousing system that have been put in place, then there is no business. So actually, as I'm speaking to you, we have our CTCs centers around the federation. Although we are the locations where you are putting, all of us we know the challenges of insecurity. We can't move it. We can't move our staff there. Not that we can't get some of these structures there, but because we can't move our staff within those locations to do the transaction for us. But be rest assured, when it comes to in terms of warehousing, we have warehouse in Jigawa, we have warehouse in Kanu, in Kaduna, we have warehouse in Nasarawa, we have warehouse even in Kogi, we have warehouses in Abuja. So I don't think we have not done much, although we still need to do more to ensure that we are closer to the farmers. And when it comes to in terms of processors, basically we are doing it in conjunction with the processors, because the processors have specification for some of these commodities. So the processors always give us these locations where again we know these commodities can be sought for within the shortest possible time, because some of them, except when you are dealing with perishable goods, that you have to move them very fast. But when you are dealing with cereals and grains, either you aggregate before you move, or you get them in large volume at a spot trading time and move. So with all these ones, we have structures in place for those transactions for them to be conducted. We are very much sorry that we can't provide a safer environment presently the way it is, because we already know the challenge it takes for insecurity. And rightly what you said, some of these places where insecurity is an issue, those are the regions that production is very much high. Production is very much high, and nobody wants to take his or her own business or her own company in areas that security is a challenge. We'll do our best to ensure that warehouses are closer to the smallholder farmers with time, and for them to be able to get a better price for their produce.
Thank you very much, Atu. So, I believe we don't have questions anymore. And so I believe your questions or your suggestion has been answered. So, invite the girl to see the next question now, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I need your feedback. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I can you see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, all. Once again. Good afternoon, Favor. Good afternoon, Oriyomi, Luashola, Adeshewa, my boss and colleague, Abdul, and everybody present here this afternoon. Uh, it's a pleasure to be presenting on this webinar today, and I'll quickly run through these slides in order not to waste much of our time. So here I'll be taking us through a few topics where I have the main topic as commodity.
It seems network may have disrupted the presentation from its end. But nevertheless, I believe we can throw more light on our topic for discussion, because it affects each and everybody in terms of making money, in terms of creating a business. Most people are passionate about agri, but how will they do it? And not only how will they do it, who are the right people who will help them to do it is very much key in every business. And thirdly, it is whom are you to sell to? As it stands now, we believe that most people have the challenging of whom to sell to some of their farm produce. And Zoacell, I believe, is one of the channels where you can easily refer someone to sell their produce to. You can refer somebody to Zoacell that even have agricultural activities that we want to partner with in terms of agricultural operations. So I believe Zoacell is just like an open door platform where we can interact even with the smallholder farmers, we can interact with the merchants, and in some cases, we can even go beyond that to ensure that we are able to work out the system that is applicable within the environment where we find ourselves. So now it's open for all of us to discuss and share ideas. How can we increase productivity in agriculture? Let's use our base experience, because this is a webinar. A webinar is a point where experts will come in and give their opinion, their foresight about issues. And it's also an opportunity where people can discuss these issues outside being no outside you not being professional, but you have the practical knowledge, you have the idea, just like what Favor brought before. That there are locations where commodity activities or agricultural operations are going on there very well, but because of the insecurity, it's difficult to get to those places. And he also mentioned that how can we get closer to the farmers? And he asked the question and also provide the solution uh, where we can have access to, farmers can have access to warehousing system. Now, there are so many other platforms that are using so many ways on how they can reach the smallholder farmers. As I've rightly said before, we have our citizen centers. The citizen center is a one-stop shop where farmers can walk in at any time, ask questions about their operations, about markets, about commodity, about buyers. So all these ones are some of the opportunities we are providing in remote areas. Because even in remote areas, farmers have challenges again about financial services. We are doing our best as SOACEL to provide financial services for the smallholder farmers within those areas. Because it's expedient that we are able to cope with it. Because banking now is becoming another thing entirely. And farmers, we know how they are. For them to have access to technology is a big challenge. And also, one of the strategies here also is how can you make it possible for farmers to have access to this technology? Because technology is key. It's not only on having tractors, it's not only on you having planters. I remember there are cases whereby we move drone to map out land, to map out farm areas. Farmers were just hypnotized by seeing drone services, seeing drone spray pesticides, herbicides on their crops. So all these ones are the area of how technology could aid productivity. So I believe if we can just brainstorm on some of these things and people have new ideas on how they can maximize profit, it's open. Because we believe that everyone has knowledge in one area or the other. Likewise, you have a way you can present it. So I believe here we can as well encourage that for all of us, let's discuss it while our presenter will be finding the shortest means to continue with his presentation. So Adeshewa and Shola, let's make it open for people to actually discuss. What do they think it's the right channel or the right strategy to increase productivity and maximize profit?
Okay, thank you very much. Uh, the members is calling from Akwa Ibom. I want to talk about the mechanization and also on the input. Every crop has a season, and as I'm talking about the oil palm, the season is here. The aspect of fertilizer has been one of the things that farmers are really need. So we want to know how will Suasol subsidize the fertilizer so that fertilizers could be given to the farmers, or some that have their money could acquire it now so as to apply. Because if we know how much is it, these farmers also have the price in the market. So if it is subsidized, it is point of contacts that Swasel will be able to get that particular farmer. And of course, the crop test center, as we are talking about, the the one in Akwa Ibom, which we will at the end of the meeting we want to hear the update. These agrochemicals is very very important. We are talking about things coming out to be original, and we want to know what is the price of these agrochemicals and their usage. As the training will be going on, these farmers will be able to use this. So these 2 points, I think, will help us to really draw the farmers to soil cell.
Thank you so much, Udeme, for your question. Uh, yeah. Okay. I just want us to still continue with the topic that we have on board. That question will be answered as AOB later because I believe we have to face what is the topic we are discussing here. That is profit maximization. And I believe what you ask is part of profit maximization and increasing productivity. That is input to the smallholder farmers at a subsidized rate. Exactly what we said we are going to do. Will provide that at our crop test center as how it is presently. And we can't determine prices for some of these commodities, these inputs, when we are not at the CTC center, when we do not know actually what is the demand. Farmers have preference when it comes to in terms of chemicals, comes in terms of fertilizers. So all these ones are things we need to determine. We don't just want to go there and stock our center with inputs that we know farmers will be less interested to get. So that's why we are taking our time, farmers placing their order. Placing your order give us more insight. What is the volume that we will take there? Which brand are we to take there? So we are still on it. All those ones are information I expect people should provide at the crop test center. So I believe with time we understand actually how Zoacell operates.
Thank you. Let me, it's being noted. I remember a year ago, Mr. Carroll came around and farmers, we did inform him of the fertilizer we would like to use, which is 12 12 17 plus 2. I am speaking specifically to the oil palm farmers. 12 12 17 plus 2 is the one we are looking for. And on the agrochemical,
Okay.
Mr. Friday also knows the one that we are going to use, which will take a longer time during the before the sego weeding can come up again. These are the need we are looking at. I know we will
Okay, sir.
also wait till the AOB. Thank you.
Okay. I believe even in terms of the evil, we have chipped in answers to the questions that you asked. So we just like now to re-emphasize where what we need to do in time because I know there is need presently and there is demand from your area. But I believe we are putting things in order how we can get it done shortly. So just exercise patience because we'll do that shortly.
Yeah, good afternoon, all.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Mr. Odeme, I just listened to you now. I think from your question, you talked about when will Akwa CTC be launched. I'm glad to let you know that we launched that of Cross River today. I'm at the location presently, and Akwa is coming on very soon, so you'll be notified about the particular date. For the input, just as Abdul said, definitely get your orders, and you are a trustee already. Get orders from farmers around and inform us at Zoase and let us know when payment will be made and you get your product. Zoase is not an NGO. We also profit making organization. We want a situation where we don't want to pile up the inputs and no one is coming for it. So if I know Mr. Deme needs 100 or maybe a trailer load of fertilizer and payment will be made before or a week after it arrives, then I plan that, okay, this is what is going to happen because I just joined them not quite long. The topic is profit maximizing, improving your productivity this season. So if you have quality inputs and you use it at the right time with the training we are giving you, you maximize profit. And agriculture is no longer a way of life, but it's now business. So it's what you put in determine what you are going to get later when you do it right. And that's why the free agronomic training is there. These are things that were put together by Zoase to help farmer increase his or her yield. So I would like to advise let's get your order and see how we can place that to you and your farmers use. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to Cross River. Natural experience. Congratulations.
Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon.
I actually wanted to talk about a particular grain, sorghum in particular. Um, there's actually be high demand for sorghum in Nigeria due to the fact that brewery companies actually are focused on using sorghum for beer, malt, and all of that. Instead of earlier, they were using barley before. So, but now there's high demand for sorghum, and we all know that sorghum is also related to the